Serious, Redditors that have had a threesome and regretted it. What was the unexpected fallout?
I had a threesome with my girlfriend and best friend. She left me for him. They have been married for over 10 years.
My ex came home from the bar with his friend and asked if I would have a threesome with them. I reluctantly agreed after drinking a little. The experience was pretty good, but my ex was so insecure and made my life miserable for a few weeks after that because he was salty about the fact that I actually enjoyed it. No idea what he was expecting.
My ex-GF's friend stopped us in the middle of it to ugly cry for the rest of the night about how she wanted her ex back. Needless to say, it stopped pretty quick.
I had really strong feeling for this guy, and we had been flirting for a while. It was going well, and one night I was over at his house with another female friend of ours. We got drunk, one thing led to another, and we had a threesome. Now they are dating and I'm still alone.
I was the third for this couple. They were both really keen on me. The experience was actually pretty normal, but afterwards they kept pestering me for more. I had realized I wasn't that interested in the both of them and kept politely declining their offers. They never stopped offering, so I finally had to say I wasn't interested. I'd see one or both of them around occasionally and they'd give me a half-hearted smile.
I was asked by my girlfriend to have a threesome with her and her best friend. A friend I had known for a long time and who had actually introduced us. A couple of minutes into it I realized that my girlfriend was not remotely interested and had pulled back. Which made it awkward because I was not remotely interested in my friend sexually. I only agreed to it because my girlfriend asked and she had been a little distant lately. I thought it might help rekindle the relationship. I carried on and did my best to make my friend happy. And then all of a sudden my girlfriend stood up and said, "Looks like you two are good, I will leave you to it." I stopped what I was doing and asked WTF was going on, and eventually they explained that the whole thing was a scheme for my girlfriend to break up with me and pass me over to her best friend who apparently had a crush on me. Needless to say, this did not go down well, and I ended up losing both of them from my life.
After having a threesome with my boyfriend at the time and another guy, my boyfriend broke up with me.
My wife and I had a threesome with a friend of mine that had recently left the military. Everything seemed fine until he told us he was in love with my wife. His brother also happened to be my best friend. We're not as close as we were though, who was super insecure and apparently also had feelings for my wife. Later my military friend was diagnosed with schizophrenia and his delusions were telling him I was the most evil person on the planet, and that aliens were gonna give him superpowers and disintegrate me. That is not an exaggeration. He now gets monthly shots from the VA and he's doing a lot better.
I had an unplanned threesome with a close friend and her boyfriend. He's well endowed and apparently she couldn't handle giving him oral, but I didn't know that, and while we were fooling around I gave him head. Like, really good head. Like so good he wouldn't stop talking about how good it was and asking why she doesn't give good head like I do. It made her insecure and put a strain on our friendship as a result. Even after they broke up, my friendship with her wasn't the same.
Well, I semi-regretted it. Like it was fun, but maybe I would have liked a better third. Anyway, freshman year of college I was into this guy and he had slept with this other girl in our friend group but was also into me. Valentine's Day we're all single, we go at it, and we have a great time. Later I end up dating the dude and like 2 or 3 years into the relationship he cheats on me with threesome girl.
It was me, my girlfriend, and my friend. Well, ex-girlfriend now because she started dating my friend afterwards.
Didn't realize the other guy was into me. Got an unwelcome surprise.
I.F. had a threesome with my BF at the time, now my ex, and a mutual female friend of ours. He ended up cheating on me multiple times with her afterward, and then ended up becoming obsessed with her, almost to the point of stalking. He even stole a friend's car to go see her. It was wild. Lol.
The guy was built like a brick shit house, so I spent most of the experience trying to suck my gut in, praying for it to be over.
This is my time to shine. When I was 19 I, was invited by a couple to participate in a threesome. They were both super hot, so I was pumped. So it starts and everything is going fine, we're all touching each other whatever. We get into a position where I'm sitting on her face while she lays on her back and her boyfriend fucks her missionary. All good until the boyfriend kinda shoved me off her. I was like, WTF? Then she gets up and her face is absolutely covered in blood. Like lion after eating a zebra blood. It's literally everywhere, the sheets, the pillows, her face, his hands, you get the point. Turns out she sliced the inside of my vagina with her very sharp acrylic nails. They looked very nice, just don't feel the best against my fragile vaginal membrane, and I was bleeding profusely. I cleaned myself off and was like, I'm gonna go. And they were like, bye. It's still one of my absolute favorite stories ever.
I mean, I guess it wasn't necessarily unexpected, but it just ruined my relationship with my girlfriend at the time. We had a threesome with a female friend of hers, and she couldn't get the image of me having sex with her friend out of her head. She said that she couldn't shake the feeling that if I truly loved her, I wouldn't have been able to sleep with someone else. Worst part of it was my GF was essentially my dream girl, and the girl we added to the mix wasn't nearly as spectacular as she was. So I traded a long-term relationship with my dream girl for one night of a threesome, and I would never have made that trade with hindsight. That said, waking up in the morning with a hot naked girl on each side of me was pretty incredible.
I don't know if I regretted it per se, but I was the third wheel. After the sexcapade we passed out, and later on that night her boyfriend went to the bathroom. She then cuddled up to me and said that was really fun and all, but if we do this again, can we get somebody I am attracted to? Then her boyfriend walked back in and she realized that I wasn't him. I could literally feel the room fill up with awkwardness. Lol. Relishing in my anguish. Thanks for the shiny things.
I had a threesome with two guys and it was kinda awkward seeing how they were trying not to touch each other during the whole thing. It was cool and everything, but they were so trying to avoid any kind of touching, and I get if two guys don't want their dicks to touch, but they wouldn't even touch legs by accident, and that is hard when you're getting DP'd by two dull guys. Lol.
I felt cheap. One of the girls developed the feelings for me. I didn't, and felt cheaper. I only got head from one of the girls, and her boyfriend resented me for it, because I didn't actually fuck her. He was there, because it wasn't a threesome. It was a sevensome. 3 girls, their boyfriends, and moi. None of us talk anymore. It's definitely better that way.
Late to this discussion. Not exactly a one-time threesome, but more of a live-in fuck toy situation. So about 6-ish months of threesomes and poly relationship. The dude was super sick and took meds all the time and had tons of doctor's appointments. They told me he had lymphatic cancer. This was only part of the truth. A friend of theirs came to visit one day and saw the situation, asked me if I knew why dude was so sick, and I responded, well, yay, he has cancer. And I will never forget the look on friend's face when he realized he would have to be the one to tell me that dude had AIDS. I confronted dude and he lied to me. Irate, yelling and screaming at me for even thinking about accusing him. I called his wife in tears and asked her. The first words out of her mouth were, I'm so sorry. We never meant to hurt you. So yay. Never again. This happened 12 years ago. I was 17 at the time. I got lucky in that I didn't contract HIV. I still get tested annually and disclose that I've been exposed to it to any potential partners, but it definitely could have ended much worse.
My first threesome ever, the dude didn't know what foreplay was. His wife was too shy to touch me in any way, and when the dude was fucking me he dislocated his shoulder. Never again with them. I left unsatisfied and upsetted, wasted the gas to get there. Edit. Holy fuck, my first award. Thank you so much Lama. This got way more attention than I thought it would. To answer some questions, yeah, he did dislocate his shoulder and it wasn't so much funny as it was concerning and, you know, a mood ruiner. He had dislocated it before, so it really didn't take much. It wasn't so much the shoulder dislocating as it was the lack of inclusion I got from PPL, who invited me over in the first place, that made me never want to see them again. to destroying marriages. Haven't seen my kids in 2 years, 3 years of crippling depression. You know, the usual.
I'm gonna cut straight to the TL drive. My buddy's big toenail grazed my asshole while trying to switch positions with her. I never told a man to cut his toenails before and hopefully never will again. Edit, spelling.
I'm female and had a number of threesomes with my best friend and my then BF. It went on for a good year until my friend got into a new relationship and we stopped being fuck buddies. One night a couple years later we were celebrating her anniversary with her husband, was the new BF, and I was in a new relationship but didn't bring my BF to the party. We all got very drunk and I kept making jokes about a foursome with her, me and our guys, which I genuinely thought would be cool. My friend got too drunk and passed out. I went to a bedroom and fell asleep. I woke up to her husband on top of me, groping me talking about how much he wanted me. I pushed him off and said go get your wife. He said she was passed out so it could be just us. I said no firmly and repeatedly, pushing him off of me. He kept trying and trying. I left as soon as I was sober enough to drive. He told her some version that she stupidly believed, and she stopped being friends with me, after more than 10 years of very close friendship. So be careful who you joke around, I suppose is the lesson. The girl ripped my bra off and I was really mad about it since it was a $70 bra that unclicks from the front and I really liked it. Tried to brush it off but couldn't focus on anything else. Then we start having fun and her dude makes out with me and she breaks down and stops everything, starts crying and runs out the room. Her guy followed her. I was just like fuck this shit. Got dressed and left by the other door. Note to all couples wanting to have threesomes, you don't have to have a threesome, sometimes it just needs to remain a fantasy or you need to be with the right person. Edit, what the heck? This blew up. Thank you for the silvers. I am honored and also grieving as I am reminded of my beautiful red push-up bra with a little silver front clip. RIP, edit 2, now some gold? I'm astonished lol.
Mail here. I was invited into a three-way by 2 other guys who were dating each other sort of casually. During sex, it became clear that one of the guys was really into me, and I naturally responded to him since he was giving me the most attention, while his BF was basically ignoring me. As it progressed, the boyfriend began giving me very intense dirty looks, so I called a halt by saying thanks, but I'm going to head home now. They broke up right after and one pursued me while the other spent the next several years bad-mouthing me and glaring at me anytime he saw me, which was frequently since I managed the only gay bar in our relatively small town. The experience led me to develop a new personal rule: no three-ways. Only groups of 4 or more, preferably 5 or more. It has served me well.
Not worth it. Girlfriend and her boyfriend had joked about it. We all got drunk one night and actually got to having sex, which was awesome until the end. I finished on her friend and my girlfriend immediately broke out in tears. Nothing was worth seeing her like that. I think it really fucked up their friendship too, which I feel bad about.
Didn't really regret it. It was a stranger that we met up with because we didn't really want to bring in anyone we'd see a lot. She was great, we all had a good time, but then 2 days later we went to meet my son's and little brother's new kindergarten teacher for the year. Talking to the woman as if we hadn't had some fantastic sex only days beforehand was the most awkward thing we've ever had to do. She looked just as embarrassed. Both my husband and I seriously considered trying to change their teacher just so we didn't have to see her every day. Thankfully the awkwardness of it died off rather quickly, and we made it through the year with a normal parent-teacher relationship.
I had a threesome with my ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend ... and then I had a pregnancy scare ... All I could think is that we would make one fucked up family unit. Thankfully not pregnant, so all ended well. Met up with 2 girls that lived together, F and H, for an LSD trip. Threesome ended up happening. The threesome was great, lasted for a long time and we all had lots of fun. Over the next few days both girls were texting me and seemed interested, but they each wanted me and not to share. They fell out over it and one of them, F, moved away and I never saw her again. The other, H, I wasn't that interested in as she wanted a relationship and I didn't. Anyway, fast forward a month or so and turns out H was pregnant. The situation is kind of ongoing as H decided to keep the baby and it's due in May. DNA test will decide if I have anything to do with her in the future, as I'm not convinced I'm the only possibility of being the father, but we are in contact. But hey, at least it wasn't both girls pregnant and 2 children born 4 days apart. Edit. F and H were the first letters of each girl's name. It doesn't mean female and hermaphrodite or horse. Just wanted to clear that up.
Killed a relationship with jealousy? My girlfriend invited a female friend over as a birthday present, and we all had a fun time. Note: it was not my idea. I didn't push for it or ask for it, I only said yes when she sprung it on me the day it occurred, because while I'm not weak-willed, there is a threshold for temptation and the situation met it. Afterwards, my girlfriend was jealous of me spending time with any female friends, hers or mine. This included my butch lesbian friend who I have zero romantic or sexual chemistry with. It got to the point where my girlfriend was throwing a shit fit if I went to see a fucking movie with a group of friends that had any single women in it. Finally she told me that I had to cut out any non-related women in my life. Obviously I said fuck no, and we broke up. Edit. Great, my most upvoted comment is now about a threesome that went south.
I was young, bi, and had a deal with my then boyfriend that I could explore sex with others as long as they were women and he could somehow join us. First 2 times went okay. Third, he proposes a girl whom he found interesting, and I liked her too. It was amazing, and I kinda started to have strong feelings for her. She told me we would be together if I left my boyfriend. I did. Turns out she liked him and they started dating. 10 would not try that again.
Girlfriend decided she preferred the girl instead of me.
My first one resulted in jealousy that was overcome and the second ruined my relationship with jealousy. But I don't really regret them because it taught me that, as unsexy as it is, planning and setting boundaries can lead to a fun adventurous sex life. If you are thinking about adding a third, have a talk first and get down to specifics. What can't I do? Where can I come? What are you uncomfortable doing? Etc. And respect any and all boundaries.
Had good friends who were married M/F. Their marriage was on the rocks. She had tried really hard to bring them together, but unfortunately he was a little emotionally reserved and unable to open up. Independently, great people. But together they just didn't work, which was a real shame. Anyway, we all got drunk one night and agreed to a 3-way. Was good fun, everything went well. Still good friends. But I really regretted drinking so much that night. I woke up with a bit of a hangover and I ended up getting a cold because I was so run down. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the award.
When you read these comments you think it's about attractive people. They aren't.
A friend of mine had a threesome with her kid's father and another girl. It wasn't her idea, but she didn't mind. Afterward he broke up with her for cheating on him. He was a real piece of work and she's happily married to someone else now.
3 years ago, my buddy and I went out for drinks at the bar one night and ended up meeting up with a girl who wanted to have a threesome. So like 2 testosterone-fueled brothers we went through with it. So in the middle of the process she says she wants to get. My friend and I were both pretty adamant in past conversations with each other that we weren't into butt stuff, but in the heat of the moment I put my feelings aside and sacrificed my phallic extension for the sake of keeping the party going. Long story short, said extension went in white, came out brown. Threesome over. After that night, my buddy didn't talk to me until a few months ago and I could no longer go to that bar because that girl was a regular there. Because of the fear that I'd be recognized as the poop dick guy. Doctor, went in white, came out brown, left the bedroom with a big fat frown. He became gay with the other guy.
I have had 2 threesomes in my whole life. Each one was my girlfriend's, 2 separate girlfriends at 2 separate times. Both times I made sure to ask if there was going to be any emotional fallout due to the threesome. Both vehemently said no, that they have always wanted this to happen. Okay, so off we go and I had a great time. The day after, both girls lit into me, telling me that they saw how much I was enjoying the other girl, how hurt they felt, etc. And both times it led to a breakup. So, if you want to break up with a girlfriend, have a threesome. And if you don't want any fallout, just have a threesome with girls you're not dating, so there is not much emotion involved.
There are a lot of people who think having a threesome would be super erotic and hot, and somewhere around the second or third minute of their girlfriend moaning like a wild cat in heat on some other guy's cock, something dies inside them. That's a bell you can't unring, and it destroys the relationships of a lot of people who try. This hasn't happened to me, and I'm not in the lifestyle, but I know people who are, and have heard these stories several times. Some people enjoy it and make it work, some people can't. I said I didn't want to do it ever again after not really enjoying 2 men. My ex-husband decided no wasn't an answer he'd accept. It's amazing how some men will overlook the fact the woman in the threesome is squirming, gagged, blindfolded and tied to the bed. 6 years of that cycle and I finally got the strength to leave. The thought of threesomes make me feel physically sick.
I got married. Short story, my husband was my booty call. We went to a party and had a spontaneous threesome. After that we had a conversation and decided to be exclusive, which snowballed into moving in together within a couple weeks. Now we've been married for 4 years. I can say, it's not what I expected to come out of a threesome, 2 kids born 4 days apart. I'll leave it at that. Wanna hear some shit? Long story short, when I was in my very early 20s, one of my friends had recently broken up with her long-term BF because he sucked. The opportunity presented itself for me to ask if she wanted to get down. She was very enthusiastic. Jokingly I asked if she wanted to have a threesome with another of my friends that she had never met. She was down. The night of, we decided to watch the original Star Wars trilogy as friends had not seen any. What was supposed to happen was at one point, someone should have said, "Are we doing this?" Instead we stayed up till like 3-4 a.m. actually watching Star Wars. When it was over we went to sleep. Then proceeded the sleepiest threesome ever. My friend had trouble staying hard. I took forever. It was weird. Then over the next few days, as the 3 of us would hang out in public, she would have hold both our hands and kiss us. It was awkward, at the time, felt like we both had the same GF. She got very clingy and shit got weird. And not in a good way.
They had cocaine and surprised me with it. I usually just did a lot of Adderall. Did a few lines and was so hyped and energetic I left before anything happened and went to a gym and signed up for a membership. It's so fucking hard to get out of a gym membership.
I farted loudly on the bathtub when receiving a blowjob and it killed the mood entirely. At the time I didn't regret it, not too sure if I do now, but it had been with my ex-boyfriend, whom I'd been dating, and his female friend. It was fun when it happened. Then I learned later that they had been sleeping together the whole time we had been a couple, 2+ years. Made it not seem like so much fun after all. The breakup had been rough, with their affair being one of the main reasons for it. He tried to get me to have another threesome with her after the first time, but I refused. Guess he was just wanting multiple girlfriends or fuck buddies.
I've done it 3 times. 2 were bad. 1 was good. The 2 that were bad just weren't very fun. Nothing crazy happened. It just wasn't great. The last was really fun and my partner and I enjoyed ourselves quite a bit. If you're going to do it, you need to find a group where all 3 people are into each other or very comfortable with each other. And you need to be able to relax and just go for whatever. The first bad one we had was because the third was just difficult to work with. He wasn't chill. The second bad one was because the guy was way into my partner, but no so much into me. We're very different physically. The good one was a guy that shared our interests and was into both of us, and was very chill. It was really fun and we had a great time,
I hooked up with a married couple I was friends with. We were all three super close, but their relationship was tumultuous. Wife constantly complained about regretting marrying her husband, and husband leaned on me for emotional support. It all ended with a misunderstanding over him thinking I was confessing my love to him, rather than a friendly love ya bro, and they both ghosted me for months without explanation. For the best, because good fucking god the constant drama. Also hilarious because I hella prefer women.
Had a drunken MFM threesome with a good friend and a girl that was into both of us. I thought we were just going to focus on the girl, but he kept rubbing me and running his hands through my hair. When he came he grabbed my shoulder and looked deep in my eyes. I laughed my ass off at his face and couldn't finish myself. Even after 25 years I can still vividly see his cum face. The regretful thing is that he killed himself 8 years ago and all I can remember is his stupid cum face.
I lasted about 30 seconds before I nutted in the other woman, my at the time GF and a girl from a swinger club. That was it. Then I had my GF suck on my flaccid dick as she was being taken doggy style by another dude. 2 tenths not fun.
Girlfriend is bi and we just had our first one on New Year's Day with a random girl we met in the nightclub and she my GF, initiated it. Was probably my best sexual encounter I've ever had. After the threesome we both agreed that if we ever have another threesome it will be out of state and town with someone we don't know just to play it safe. We both had a little bit of trust issues afterwards but nothing too crazy and we've been pretty good ever since.
I don't regret the threesome but man the aftermath sucked. I am a dude and I had a really awesome lady friend that I had known for quite some time. When I was a senior in high school I introduced the girl and my girlfriend at the time to each other and they became pretty close to one another. One night they surprised me with the idea of a threesome and we had a good time for what it's worth. Fast forward months later and I'm not with that girl but they are still friends and the ex-girlfriend introduced my friend to party drugs and I basically lost her after that. We haven't been close since and that encounter happened maybe 5-6 years ago. I still feel pretty awful about the chain of events that followed and I really just wish I wouldn't have introduced the two of them.
Due to this thread, my girlfriend and I have talked and decided that since 95% of these result in a romantic breakup or a friendship ending, it's not worth the risk. Thanks guys.
Actually, she's into exhibitionism, the people watching are into voyeurism.
Ouch, that hurt me.
Why is this such a common occurrence in this thread? Feel bad for each and every one of y'all skeptical.
Did you get invited to their honeymoon? WTF. Was he thinking, hey, I'd really like to do this thing I hope you'll hate? That's grey, girl. Hope you made it out of that relationship.
Those guys were super nice to you.
I just never get why your best friend goes and sleeps your ex. I mean, if my maid shagged my ex when she dumped me on my day, they would very quickly be my non-friend.
Sounds like she wanted drama in her life. Probably would have dumped you if you fucked her roommate. Sounds like she wanted a reason to end things.
That's some special birch though. Had to be some mental issues involved, right?
How dare you not fuck our physically attractive roommate? The absolute audacity of up here. Shame on you. In all seriousness, good on you man for staying out of the situation afterwards. I know many of people, idiots, who would want to go back and try the relationship again.
I'm sad for her. Maybe she was at the breaking up phase where we try and do wild single things, to maybe feel adventurous. But nothing makes you forget your ex. Some of us will inevitably cry on top of some couple during an orgy. It's a phase, girl.
Word of caution, you will be the first he seeks when they fight or break up. Be wary.
If it makes you feel better, my story is a foursome but whatever. It was myself, a guy I was hooking up with, my friend and her husband. My friend started crying in the middle of it while we were making out and both getting fucked. They're still married. The guy I was seeing is dead now, and I'm still alone. At least they respectfully backed off once you made it clear you weren't interested.
I used to have a female friend who really wanted to include me with her and her husband. She said she just had to talk him into it. No thanks. Sounds like a whole lot of trouble. She had a weird kind of crush on me that was equal parts praise and negging and bragging about her amazing relationship. It was kind of a relief when the friendship died out.
I went through this myself. Super awkward. They were both more into me than I was into them, and I quickly realized they did not have a healthy relationship. I'm not a fan of ghosting, but that was way more drama than I have patience for.
They would gladly give you something else though.
This is fucking wild. They devised this plan and thought it'll certainly work. It's the only way.
Greater than, and I ended up losing both of them from my life. Thank God.
Honestly, I really think this is the most honest story I have read on here. Not to say none of the others are honest, but rather yours seems like you are actually and genuinely upset by this whole thing. I am sorry you lost two good friends.
Thank you for watching. We publish amazing Reddit stories every day. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to keep the dog smiling.